All right, guys, so this idea that we're going to talk about today, structured practicing and having an actual practice routine, is literally the one thing that has held me back in my 20 years of playing guitar more than anything else that I could possibly think of. And I think that's true for pretty much everybody that I've talked to about this subject. So the past year, I've been trying to implement structure into my practicing and have an actual practice routine that I'm like, okay, even if I don't feel like sitting down today, I'm going to go fucking sit down and I'm going to do the things that I said I was going to do, these few things in this order. And I was trying to basically develop structure in my guitar playing. And I finally figured it out. At first it was really difficult and I just wasn't really motivated to actually sit down and do this practice regimen. And it's crazy because I love playing guitar, but for some reason whenever it came time to actually sit down and play guitar, I just wasn't that motivated. And I didn't really want to do it. But forcing myself to have structure has developed the habit of playing guitar again. And it's basically to where I don't have to think about it anymore. I know exactly what I'm going to do. And that has been a game changer. So I'm just going to take you guys through my current practice regimen that I do almost every day. And I know you guys are going to get some good information out of it. You're going to get something out of it at least. And then I'm also going to give you guys the number one very key element to consistent progression with metal guitar. And I have to build up to that, so we're going to get to that at the end, but you don't want to miss it. So first thing that I do, I'm always going through a paid course. I'm always going through some form of training when it comes to guitar, whether that's a blues guitar course, or currently I'm going through a music theory course, specifically Rick Beato's Music Theory for Songwriters. I'm about a third way through it right now, and so far it's a great course. But I always pay money for somebody's best work. I always pay for that structure. They've put a course together with PDFs and modules and all the information in the order that they believe you should learn it, and it's in that order for a reason. And if you pay $100 or $200, they'll give you all that information. So I always just pay for a course. I'm always going through a course. So I definitely recommend that to anybody who's willing to spend a little bit of money. Just spend the money on a course. Find somebody that you think has the knowledge that you want, explain stuff in the way that you want. Maybe that's me. Maybe you guys like the way that I teach, and I actually have a 6-week program that's basically a roadmap to riff mastery, and the link is below that you guys can check it out if you want. But regardless of if you buy my course or not, if you are willing to spend the money, I highly recommend just spending the money on a course, because you're going to get so much more from that. And I think it's so important to continue to learn and continue to get better with knowledge. So that's the first thing that I do, is I work on that course, whether that means I'm actually going through a module that day, or maybe it's just that I'm picking up where I left off and working on the ideas from the module from the past day or from a couple days ago. I always start with whatever course I'm going through. I start working on that information. So right now, like I said, it's music theory. I'm trying to get more knowledgeable with music theory for a couple reasons. First of all is because I really want to write more songs and more riffs. And I know that understanding the ins and outs of the music language is going to help me with that. I've learned music theory a lot in the past. I know a lot of music theory, but I have neglected to take it to the fretboard, I feel like, as much as I should, and understand it on the fretboard as much as I should. And also because I know that understanding music theory is going to help me to help you guys more, and that's pretty much my main goal, is to help you guys. So music theory is the first thing that I focus on right now, because that is the course that I'm going through. So I have some flashcards here of scales and the specifically the sharp keys that I'm learning right now. I'm trying to learn basically what is considered the circle of fifths, the sharp and flat keys. So I'm trying to memorize that stuff because I understand that, but I've never memorized actually like how many sharps are in what key and whatnot. So I want to take that information in and be able to remember, so I don't have to continue to look it up when I need that information. So that's the first thing that I do. The second thing that I do is I run through most of the songs, all the songs, or some of the songs that I can play all the way through from start to finish, because that is one of the things that I want to be able to do with my guitar playing. Is I want to be able to just sit down and play like 10 to 15 songs straight through with minimal mistakes. You know, if I felt like, hey, I just want to go live on Instagram today and just play some songs, I could go and play just a bunch of songs, you know, some of them being ones that I wrote, most of them being songs that I learned. But I just want to be able to confidently play through a bunch of songs, have like a list, or have like a song bank, to where it's like I know how to play all of these songs and I remember how to play all these songs. And for me personally, I've learned hundreds of songs all the way through, and I can play a song every single day for like 2 months straight, and then take a week off and have to go back and look at it and like kind of refigure it out. So my memory of like how to play songs is it's very short. So it's important that I continue to play through all these songs on a regular basis. So I always start. That's kind of my warm up, aside from just, you know, just warming up my hands. Just playing some random shit. I play through those songs, and that is pretty much an amazing warm up for me personally. And then the next thing that I do is I focus on working on the song that I'm currently learning. So I'm always working on a new song that I haven't got down yet, you know. So depending on where I'm at in the stages of learning that song, it might be to where I just started, so I'm like on the first riff, just trying to learn the first few notes, or it might be to where I know all the riffs, but I need to put them together and learn the transitions and be able to play it all the way through without making mistakes or forgetting where I'm supposed to be at and forgetting the structure of the song. So that's the next thing that I do. That's the third thing that I do, is I focus on learning whatever song that I'm working on at that time. And you know, personally, I like 2000s metalcore, like As I Lay Dying, Kill Switch, Trivium, Parkway Drive. So that's the songs that I learn, and that's kind of the style that I write to. So I have a lot of metalcore songs that I've learned, and one that I'm currently working on is a Bullet for My Valentine song. So yeah, that is the next thing that I do, is I work on that. And as far as how much time I spend on everything, it kind of varies. Like the music theory or the course, it's usually about 15 minutes, and then it just depends on how into something I am. It could be 10 minutes, it could be 30 minutes. It really just depends. So the next thing that I do is I work on the song that I'm currently writing, because I'm always trying to write something. That is one of my biggest goals right now, is to write entire songs and then eventually get them to where I have like drum tracks and bass and everything, and write and mix entire songs, and then have an entire album here in the next like less than a year, hopefully. So that's the next thing that I work on, is I go and start working on the song that I'm currently trying to write. And I use Guitar Pro app to tab out my stuff, so I'll just kind of come up with a riff idea, you know, I don't know, something like that, and then I'll be like, okay, that's kind of cool, and then I'll like tab it out on Guitar Pro so that I have it documented, because that's always been the issue for me. Like, I've written so many songs all the way through. I have like partially written songs and partially written riffs, and it was just always like documenting my songs. Like I said, I forget how to play stuff so quickly that I almost need like a way. Tablature has always been the best way for me to learn songs. So having a good tab program like that, to where I can just document the stuff, and then even if I don't get to it within the next few days or whatever, I don't forget it. I can go back and relearn it. And most of the time, that's kind of how it goes. It's like I'll write something, or I'll come up with something real quick and just play it real fast. I'm like, oh, that's fucking awesome. That's sick. And I'll tab it out. And then, like, I wasn't really thinking about what I was playing or what I was trying to play at that time. But then when I go back and try to think about how to play that the exact same way, it doesn't work that well. So I have to kind of go and actually learn my songs after I write them. So that's something that I spend a decent amount of time on. That's, I would say, a third of my practice routine right at the moment. So that basically takes us to the end of the practice framework right there is working on my own song. Sometimes if I feel like I want to play a little bit longer, I'll just play, I'll just do kind of some free jam and play some random stuff or just mess around, or maybe play through some songs that I already know again, if I feel like playing a little bit more. But that is generally where I end it for the most part. And that's about an hour to an hour and a half, usually closer to an hour and a half for me, because I spend a little bit more time on some of these ideas than I always plan on spending, but that's okay. I mean, that's hour and a half, I think, is a good amount of time to practice. And that doesn't mean that if you don't have an hour and a half to practice that you shouldn't play. I mean, if you had 30 or 40 minutes a day to practice, that's going to be such a huge difference than nothing at all. And you're going to see progression with that. You might not be able to focus on as many ideas as I do. Maybe you only focus on a couple ideas in a 30 or 40 minute practice regimen, or maybe you have one specific idea that you really want to get good at, and that's really what you focus on. So I definitely don't think that I'm practicing for an hour and a half every day, that if you can't practice for an hour and a half every day that you shouldn't play. That's not the case. You can definitely see progression and get good and be a great guitarist with less amount of time than that. All right, so let's talk about the most important idea when it comes to seeing consistent progression with your metal guitar playing, and that is setting goals. Goals are so crucial, and this is something that I neglected for most of my life with not just guitar, but a lot of stuff. And I saw the negative results in return. So it's very, very essential. If you haven't done this yet, if you're just like, hey, I just want to play guitar, I just want to play some songs, I just want to be able to play guitar, that's not good enough. You need to have a goal. You need to have like an actual vision of the guitarist that you want to be. And maybe that is all you do is play cover songs in your bedroom by yourself and never play for anybody else. That's completely fine. That's a good goal. You want to be really good at playing as many of your favorite songs as possible. That's an amazing goal. But you need to have a goal like that. Or maybe it's you do want to play in a band, you want to play live, and you want to go on tour, and you want to record albums. But you need to know what that goal is, because then you can set your practice regimen up to focus on ideas that are going to get you there. So if my goal is to just play cover songs in my bedroom, then I don't necessarily need to stand up and jump around and play, and I don't need to try to worry about trying to record stuff, because I don't really care about recording. So your what you do on a regular basis, the process is going to be different if you have a different goal. So you need to understand what the guitarist is that you want to be before, and then you need to set small goals. Like I always have a goal for the day, and then I always have a monthly goal. My monthly goal right now is to finish learning 2 songs and then finish writing the song that I'm on and be able to play them perfectly through with like pretty much no mistakes. That's my goal for the month, and we're coming up on about 10 days to where I need to have that finish, and I don't know if I'm going to be there, but that's okay. Like everything that I've been working towards every single day is to get me to that goal. So if I fall short of that goal, that's okay, because I tried really hard, and maybe the goal was a little bit too much. Maybe I need a little bit more time, or maybe I need a little bit less to focus on for that goal. But that's what I worked on every day, and I accomplished a lot of it. I've already got to the point to where I've written most of the song. I've written all the song. I can play most of the song, and I've learned one of the entire songs, and I'm focusing on learning the other one. So I've gotten most of my goal done, and these small monthly goals are what are going to get you to your overall goal of whatever type of guitarist that you want to be. So that's all I have today. I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I know that you're getting something out of this, and I hope, if nothing else, that if you're like, I don't like your practice regimen at all, it sucks. Hopefully you guys got some ideas, and you take some of the stuff that I said and put together your own practice regimen that works for you in your time frame and whatnot. And again, if you guys are interested in getting good at metal guitar, and you're like, I don't know what to practice, I want more information on structuring effective practice routine, you guys check out Simplistic Riff Mastery, my 6-week course. I had almost 100 people graduate recently, and I'm telling you, the results are like so amazing that I'm very excited. So currently I have it half price. So if you guys are interested, check it out.